Hi, my name is Julaine Zink. I'm a third-year cognitive psychology student working in the Emotion and Cognition Lab, which is where I am today. So I'm answering some of your questions that you guys submitted about transportation in and around ND, as well as how you get to campus once you arrive for orientation. So the first question that we got was about how to get to Notre Dame for orientation. In terms of Chicago airports. Now, Midway is technically closer when you're driving, but both Midway and O'Hare have a Coach USA Airport Super Saver shuttle that will take you from the airport to Notre Dame in front of the Hamus bookstore. You can either buy the bus tickets online, and we'll put the link down below for that, or you can buy the ticket on the bus or at the airport when you arrive. They tend to start running in the early morning. So if you get a midnight flight, which I know some of you asked about, you'll have to wait a while to get onto that shuttle. Alternatively, you could also try and look for flights that connect you from a Chicago airport to the South Bend International Airport, where you can again take a shuttle to Notre Dame, or you can have Uber drop you off at whatever apartment you'll be staying at during the school year. Also, keep in mind, if you're planning on coming during a midnight flight or a red eye, make sure to call ahead with your apartment complex to make sure you can actually move in during that time frame, because a lot of those are 9 to 5 situations. Although with fog, we have heard that you can schedule a key drop if you're coming in the middle of the night. A few of you asked how essential it was to have a car as a graduate student here at Notre Dame. Now, it really depends on your needs, but you could get by without having a car. I know I was without my car for about a month here at Notre Dame, and I was able to use Uber, the local bus transpo, as well as just carpooling with friends, and I got by fine. However, there are times where having a car is nice, but you can mostly get around it through Uber and things like that. So one question we got was, is it true that buses within the area are free for Notre Dame students? How can I get it, and can I get it on the weekend, since I'm arriving the Saturday before orientation? The transpo buses are free for ND students, but you do need your ID card to access them for free. Without your ID card, they're only $1. So the transpo buses pick up at multiple locations on the outskirts of campus and will be running the weekend before orientation. However, you probably won't be able to get your ID during that weekend as the office will be closed. But since the transpo buses will be running, you can still access them for that $1 fee that I talked about earlier. Besides the transfer bus system, there are plenty of other ways that we can get around off campus. There are zip cars that we can rent for a discounted rate as a Notre Dame student. There's Uber, which covers the area pretty well, especially in the late evenings and early mornings. And finally, there are a couple of taxi companies in the area that I've used without too much problems. So one of you asked how bike-friendly campus and the whole city in general is. Notre Dame itself is very bike-friendly. I often ride my bike when the weather is nice. And even when the weather is a little so-so, it's still quite bikeable. Our campus groundskeepers keep our sidewalks pretty well clear during the winter. South Bend, the city itself, does have bike lanes and are actually adding more in the upcoming year as well. And soon there will be a bike share program, which is pretty exciting. As far as outside of South Bend, there are areas that are bike friendly or at least have sidewalks that you can bike on. However, it's not going to be the best main way of traveling if you're going to and from your apartment or to Mishawaka especially. I would definitely say Mishawaka isn't as bike friendly as South Bend. There are also some nice bike trails around campus. There's one specifically that goes from campus to the downtown East Race Trail, and the East Race is along the St. Joe River in South Bend. And that's a really nice bike ride as well as a nice walk. Finally, on weekends when you want to get away from South Bend and go to some of our neighboring cities like Detroit, Chicago, and Indianapolis, there are plenty of ways to get there. One, there's always the option of the carpool. You can take a zip car. There's also the South Shore, which is a really nice train ride from South Bend to Chicago, as well as a Greyhound bus station that is on the South Bend International Airport campus. So all of those are really good ways to get to our neighboring cities without having to have a car of your own. So that's all I have about transportation around Notre Dame. If you have any more questions, feel free to put them in the comment section below, and we'll get to them as soon as we can. Next week, we'll be talking about housing and life in South Bend, so be sure to get your questions in as soon as possible. Look forward to seeing you next time. Have a great week.